friends. I'm Karen, and this is the Family Food for Moms podcast. We're talking about inspiration for family cooking and dining. Today, we're going to talk about one of my favorite foods in the world. Whenever people ask me what's the food that I could eat over and over if I could just choose one food, and that would be artichokes. Fresh, whole, steamed artichokes dipped in a bit of feta cheese, which I water down. So I love to take the whole green artichoke, cut off the top of the leaves where it's spiky, cut off a little bit of the stem, and then I put them with the stem down in my steamer. And they steam for about 45 minutes, and then they are beautifully soft. And then you pull off each leaf and kind of scrape it on your teeth, eat the inside of each leaf, and then you start to slice off the little pieces of the heart. The flavor is just incredible. There's nothing like it. Artichokes are a unique vegetable. They're beautiful, they're fresh, and they just taste so good. So I've always loved artichokes. In fact, since we lived in California and I was introduced to them, sometimes we dip them in butter, garlic butter, but just that flavor of the leaf of the artichoke is amazing. So if you've never tried an artichoke, I encourage you to try. You can steam them in a pot with a bit of water and the lid on, or there's many that you can buy that are pre-cooked and canned. You can buy jars of artichokes in oil or sometimes in brine, and then you just drain them, and then inside you'll find the heart usually, and you just chop that up and you can add it to things like salads and pizza. So we're going to talk about the benefits of artichokes, what you can use them in, and all of those things. So the globe artichoke is actually a thistle and comes from the Mediterranean region, and it's cultivated for its edible flower, the bud of the flower, and it's harvested before the flowers bloom. So what we eat is the fleshy base of the leaves and the tender heart. So it's native to the Mediterranean area, maybe Sicily, and it's been cultivated since ancient times. The Greeks and the Romans prized artichokes for their use in food and for medicinal uses. And they were introduced to the United States in the 19th century by immigrants from France and Spain and Italy. California these days remains the main producer for the US, the artichoke capital of the world, which is Castroville. So no wonder I was introduced in California. The artichokes there were huge, huge and wonderful. Then thinking about the actual anatomy of the bud, the outer leaves are tough, but as I said, you can scrape the inside with your teeth once they're cooked. And the heart is the tender, prized portion at the bottom. And then there's a little part inside, which is inedible. It's fibrous and a bit spiky. That's called the choke. And then the stem is also edible. So you'll leave a little bit of the stem on when you steam it, and then you slice off parts of the stem and eat those. They're similar to the heart in flavor. So artichokes are very nutrient dense, which is fabulous. They are like a superfood. They've got a whole lot of different minerals and vitamins. And they support liver health. They help regulate cholesterol. They aid digestion and support gut health. They help with blood pressure, blood sugar. They have polyphenols, which are anti-inflammatory. Isn't that awesome? What a lot of benefits. So they're about 7 grams per medium artichoke, more like 10 in a big one. And they contain inulin, which is a prebiotic fiber which feeds the gut and supports the digestive health. So they're excellent for fiber. They've got good vitamin K, folate, and vitamin C. They've got great minerals like magnesium, potassium, and iron. And they've got antioxidants. So they're also called liver tonics in traditional medicine. They can help stimulate bile production, which helps fat digestion. So good to have an artichoke as an appetizer on each plate. And they actually help the liver a lot. If you have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, they can help. They can help with the liver enzyme markers to lower them. and generally just improve the health of the liver. Then, as I said, blood pressure regulation, the potassium and magnesium really help with that and relaxing blood vessels. And then the fiber helps with the gut health and all the implications of that, and with blood sugar regulation. And then the antioxidants will help by lowering inflammation. Some of the nutrients can be lost in cooking, the vitamin C a little bit, the folate a little bit, but then the minerals and the vitamins A and K and the fiber will all remain. And there's still a good amount of vitamin C, etc., left after cooking. The best way is the steaming, as the boiling can lead to some water-soluble nutrient loss. So, as I said, you can steam them or boil them and then serve them whole with butter, or a feta preparation where you mash the feta and add a little bit of water, something like aioli or a vinaigrette that you like. Whatever kind of flavor you enjoy with it is great as a dip. They can also be grilled or roasted, which adds a smoky flavor. They may not be quite as tender. They can be stuffed, breadcrumbs, cheese, herbs, etc. And then the hearts can be used in so many ways: salads, pizzas, pastas, dips, etc. So the canned ones are great for quick use in a recipe, and they're often packed in oil or brine, and then you can just rinse them off and slice them up. Some fun facts about artichokes. Marilyn Monroe was crowned the first artichoke queen in 1948. This was an honorary title, part of a publicity campaign to increase interest in artichokes in Castroville, California. The world's largest artichoke sculpture is also in Castroville, California. And artichokes contain cynarin, cynarin, and that makes water taste sweet after eating the artichokes. So if you like your water sweet, have some after you eat an artichoke. So using fresh artichokes, the classic way is to trim them, steam them, and then serve with melted butter or hollandaise or garlic aioli, and then eat them by pulling off the leaves, scraping the flesh with your teeth, and then eating the heart. Grilled or roasted, you can steam, halve, remove the choke, and brush with olive oil, and then grill. So you steam it partially and then grill it so that it's nice and soft. Roasting whole adds the deep caramelized flavor. Stuffed artichokes means you fill the center between the leaves with breadcrumbs or parmesan, etc., and bake. And then fried artichoke hearts is to quarter the heart and soak it in lemon water and then fry in olive oil and sprinkle with salt. Those are delicious. The spinach artichoke dip would be combining your artichoke hearts with cream cheese and mozzarella and garlic, etc., and spinach, steamed spinach. Then in salads, you can use the cold tinned artichokes. They go well with olives, cherry tomatoes, feta, etc. You can also toss the artichoke hearts with a pasta. They're very yummy. You can put them on pizza with sun-dried tomatoes or olives or pesto, etc. You can use them in sandwiches or wraps with your chicken or Mediterranean vegetables. You can put them as a topping on your bruschetta or crostini. And then you can also chop them and mix into your eggs with goat's cheese or feta and fresh herbs. Artichoke soup is delicious with potatoes, leeks, and then some stock, a bit of cream, and blend in your artichokes. So you would cook the potatoes, artichokes, leeks, etc. together and then blend them. Then a stew with chicken or lamb, artichokes in it. Very yummy. Artichoke hummus. You blend your tinned artichokes with chickpeas, lemon, garlic, etc., and some pine nuts or cashews to thicken it up. You can even use artichoke hearts chopped into a creamy risotto with parmesan and lemon zest. So lots of yummy ways to use artichokes, but I think the best way to get to know the flavor and enjoy them is to try the steamed whole version. It is seasonal, generally early summer, spring to early summer. I'm looking forward to that season. And then we get tons of fresh ones. And often for a lunch meal, I'll just have 3 whole artichokes. And you get a bit of protein from the dairy that you dip it in. So, a real superfood and a fabulous ingredient. It's great to have a few tins of artichokes in your cupboard, in your pantry, to use when you'd like to add some good flavor or to add something interesting to your salad. I also like to sometimes chop some tinned artichokes and add some sun dried tomatoes and then marinade in olive oil and some kind of vinegar, maybe balsamic, and a bit of salt. And then just leave them in the fridge. And then whenever you feel like a snack, you just take out your glass dish full of artichokes and sun dried tomatoes. You give them a shake so they're well coated with the oil, and then you just eat a few. It's really good. Thanks for listening. I hope you're inspired about artichokes. See you next time. Oh, and if you have any unique ways of eating artichokes, unusual things you do with them, flavors, things that you add as dip or anything like that, I really would love to hear from you. You can email me at Karen@familyfoodformoms.com. Karen@familyfoodformoms.com.